welcome back to Markers and Monsters, where, as always, I'm your host, Colin, and today's Drawlloween theme is urban legends. Now, I decided to actually go with a fictional urban legend for this, rather than like a real urban legend. I thought about it for a while, like Bloody Mary, or, I don't know, the hook hanging off the car, or one of those, like, quote-unquote real. I actually went with a fictional urban legend, and today we're drawing Candyman from the 1992 film Candyman. Yep, named after the character. Love it. Now, if you guys haven't seen Candyman or don't know what it is, it's actually a great flick, and again, highly recommended, and it is about urban legends. Basically, Virginia Madsen plays a graduate student. She's writing a thesis on urban legends in Chicago, and she comes across a legend of the Candyman, or Candyman as they call him, who is like an urban legend. He has a hook for a hand, and he kills people if you go into a mirror and say his name 5 times, one of those traditional kind of urban legends. And later in the film, she finds out that it might not just be a legend. This movie's great for a couple of reasons. Number one, Tony Todd, who plays Candyman, gives an amazing performance in this movie. I think it's really great. He's a terrific actor. He's appeared on all kind of stuff. Some of the best episodes of Deep Space Nine, he's in it. Recently, he did the voice of Zoom on The Flash. Just he's in all kind of stuff, and great actor, great performance here. The other thing is, it's got a really smart story. I actually really think that it's one of the better horror movie type stories, because it's not just about some crazy guy killing people. It actually has like very dense themes and things that it's about that are really interesting, and it plays with the urban legends and the power of urban legends and how they influence people, and how they kind of have I don't know, just like their own kind of sense of like power. If everybody is believing in something, then maybe you can bring that something to life, whatever it may be. Now, the story of Candyman in the movie is that he was, back in the day, he was a slave who got his freedom, and later became an amazing like portrait artist. He was always painting and doing stuff like that. Well, I guess he fell in love with a white woman, and her father did not like that too much, so mob killed him. They cut off his painting hand, and it jammed like a hook into it, and then they covered him in honey, which is why they call him the Candyman. All the kids shouted that, and he was stung to death by bees, which is pretty horrific. That's that's not a way that I would ever want to go. Ask Nicolas Cage, he'll tell you. So anyway, then they burned his body and spread them all around Cabrini Green, which is, or was, a real-life slum in Chicago, where a lot of this movie takes place, as the residents talk about like the legend of Candyman or whatever. And while Virginia Madsen's character does not initially believe in it, it's just an urban legend to her, she goes there and starts doing research and whatever, and finds out that maybe if you believe in something hard enough, it might just be real. And beyond that, that's not even really the biggest spoiler of the movie. It's just a really well done flick. And again, highly recommend you guys watch it. Candyman was followed by a couple of sequels, like Candyman 2: Farewell to the Flesh, and I can't remember what the third one was called, but not very good. So yet another that keeps popping up on this show all the time. Movies that are great that have really crappy sequels. And the second Candyman movie, I watched it recently, and it's not horrible. It's just it doesn't have the great story of the first one. It's more of like your typical slasher flick. So if you're into seeing gore and people get ripped apart by a dude with a hook hand and, a trench coat with a skeleton and guts underneath, then that's a pretty good way to do it, Candyman 2. But if you're looking for a great story, go with the first one. Now, I went with a nice yellow theme for this picture, kind of like with the bees and the honey, keeping that kind of theme together. So it was really fun to kind of get some of that yellow light spread out throughout the drawing, and like reflecting off his skin and whatnot, and kind of giving that, that, I don't know, I wouldn't say religious background, but the like beam of light coming down gives him like, it looks like he's in, if you're looking at that, it's like you're in awe of him, or he's, more than human, like he's kind of mystical in a way, and that's kind of what I was going for with that. Plus, with this drawing, I really enjoyed coloring in all his guts. Guts are something that's just a lot of fun to draw with squiggly lines and all that. So yeah, I had a blast. Plus, bloody hook hand, can't go wrong with that. So yeah, let's get the rib cage colored in here, inked in here, and just the lines, and add in some of that fur texture. Couple little bees I'm going to put around here. They're not flies, they are bees in fact, so hopefully that comes across. I try to give them little stingers. Sign it up, and let's look at the scan. Looking good. All right. Hey, like I said, guys, Candyman, 1992 flick. Check it out for Halloween. It's a good one. That's it for me for today. Thank you again for watching. Thanks for tuning in and commenting and liking and all that fun stuff. You could do more of that. I'll allow it. It's all good with me. There's my social media stuff, and check me out. I'm all over the web, different places. So that's it. Hey, guys, we'll see you tomorrow on Markers and Monsters.